Shazam!
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, let's go right into Trinity Crisis number 1. This issue starts off when we see someone narrating the story. We see a little Superman logo in a box, but his logo is different. It has a red S with a black logo behind it, and he's talking about crises and how that in a moment of a crisis, in an instant, things can change. And this person's narrating, we see like the events of the old crises happening, and then we see Wonder Woman rallying the troops up to try to storm the Batman Who Laughs castle, or the Castle Bat as they call it. Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman decide that they have to go down to these 3 crisis worlds that are fueling Perpetua with crisis energy, which is like giving the Batman Who Laughs the ability to have this whole dark multiverse apparently. Those 3 crisis worlds are the fuel, and their job is to go down with Alfred boxes, which look like mother boxes, but they're Alfred boxes. Go down to these 3 crisis worlds and get the energy from around the villains that are on those 3 crisis worlds, which would be the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Final Crisis, and Infinite Crisis. So you can imagine the 3 villains would be the Anti-Monitor, Darkseid, and of course, Superboy Prime. The meat of the issue is that, yeah, they're trying to storm the castle. So many Batman, so many different, versions of Batman. Point of it is that the 3 heroes get to the portal. They both, now this is the thing. They all fly down to their particular Earths. Now, Batman was sent down to the world that was, I guess, the Crisis of Infinite Earths. Now, mind you, what Wonder Woman said in the beginning of this issue was that these were like crisis worlds that almost, they were like kind of like replays of history and stuff, because that's how she was assuming, like, oh, it's a crisis world, it's events that we've done before, so we just have to remember the moments and stuff or whatever. So for example, so I guess they were under the impression that if they go down to these Earths or worlds, it would, like, if it was a Crisis on Infinite Earths, it would be like literally from that moment that they were involved in it, like whatever point in time period. It's like almost like history, basically, like a replay, I guess, of these events. Wrong. Batman comes down to the Crisis of Infinite Earths world, and there's nothing, and we see a bunch of like antimatter creatures start to try to feed on Batman, and Batman's like, where the hell's the Anti-Monitor? And then the Anti-Monitor appears, and there's nothing. Like, all existence is wiped out, and it's just Batman and the Anti-Monitor. We see Superman land in the Final Crisis world. Obviously, Darkseid took over that. And again, we get the most important panel. We see Diana crash down into the the Infinite Crisis world, and we see her land down, and she's like, this is not right at all. Like, I don't remember any of this and stuff. And that's when someone explains to Diana that, this isn't what you expect it to be. This is not what you think it is. Like, this is that world, but the outcomes have been changed because the Batman Who Laughs pulled the Anti-Monitor, Darkseid, and Superboy Prime and sent them to those worlds to change the histories of those worlds. And so now those worlds have been changed by those villains and by Superboy Prime, as he reveals that in a crisis, things can change in an instant. So what she was assuming was dead wrong, and now Wonder Woman realizes that this isn't the same world. They were, but now these villains have been sent there by the Batman Who Laughs to change the outcome of each of these worlds. And the comic book ends, we see Prime floating up, and he's like, yeah, but I'm gonna say the line anyway, I'm Superboy Prime, and this world that Diana, this crisis world you've lost and stuff, So, overall thoughts. So, are you telling me, now again, I know Scott Snyder, again, fantastic writer and everything. Now, if the Batman Who Laughs sent these villains to each of these crisis worlds to keep the Perpetua fueled with crisis energy, where were they pulled from? And that Superboy Prime, is it the same Prime that was from the Shazam series? Because I don't think so. And then is that really a dark multiverse version of Superboy Prime, or is that the real Superboy Prime? And he was just literally plucked from somewhere and sent down to that world to change the history of that world, and that's why he's content living in it, because now that's technically like his Earth Prime. Remember the whole, they're satisfied. Anti-Monitor wiped out the whole entire Earth or universe and fed off all the matter. Darkseid spread his anti-life equation on that final Crisis Earth. Superboy Prime, that's now Earth Prime. That was his whole purpose of the Infinite Crisis, to create the perfect Earth, and that's his Earth now. So where did they come from? I don't know. I don't know if they're the dark multiverse version, or they're just literally the real versions. Again, I just don't think that the Shazam one is the same as this Superboy Prime. Now I'm confused. Let me know. Leave a comment on the video. Tell me, which Prime do you think this is? And where are they going to go with this? Because technically, are they just going to be content being stuck on these like Crisis worlds that are fueling some bigger villain and stuff, and they're just like, they settled with that? Do they even know what's actually happening? Because Superboy Prime is, again, telling the story. He's narrating like he knows exactly what's happening, as he narrated Wonder Woman, her whole entire rally with the troops, all the way up until her arrival on his world. So what do you think? That was like, my thoughts are, I'm even more confused now. Now it's forced. Now you're forced to read issue number 4 of Dark Knight's Death Metal. I'm lost, I guess. I mean, again, good to see Prime again for like 2 pages, 3 pages. Leave your thoughts. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I'm out.